Hello and welcome to Armitstead Barnett's View from the Gate. I'm Simon Wells and I'm joined by Mr. Richard Furnival.
Hello.
And we're going to be discussing the agricultural land market today. It's one of the questions that we're asked so frequently when we're out and about on farms, completing valuations, utility work, marketing appraisals and such. What is the agricultural land market doing? How's it performing? How's land? It's a big question.
It's a very big question, Simon. Thanks for that one. Okay, so I think if we recap probably the last 12 months, or I'll go further back actually if you want, the last 3 years we've seen traditional capital growth in land market. It's been very progressive, very proactive and very positive. The last 12 months, probably the last 6 months of that, the last half year, we have seen a little softening in the market, I'll be perfectly honest. There's uncertainties and that we'll probably talk about them, but generally last 3 years all very positive.
And who has been the main buyers in the market? I mean, we're stood here, we're in sunny Lancashire, predominantly a dairy area.
Yep.
I would say over the last couple of years, obviously good, solid grade 3 land, grassland, quality silage, maize ground. It's been the dairy sector has been pushing on.
There's no doubt about that. The economies of the dairy sector have been positive, notwithstanding the last 6 months. We'll probably touch on that with the land market, but underpinned very much by the dairy market. There's a lot of larger commercial dairy farmers who have been active in the market in the last 2 or 3 years.
So there are other buyers in the market. There's obviously the amenity sector.
Yeah. I think in the northwest, certainly where we're stood, Simon, it's still very much underpinned by core agriculture. That said, UK-wise, probably less than half of land transactions have gone direct to farmers. So there has been more non-farming interest. That's investors, amenity, renewables. So yeah, there's a lot of competing marketplaces out there at the moment.
So what is motivating those farmers to sell those blocks of land, those equipped holdings?
It's another big question, Simon, that probably can't be answered in a quick answer.
There's obviously a lot of retirement.
Yeah, there's a whole range of the answers can be given on that, but I would think the biggest one is probably succession or lack of.
Mm-hmm.
We've got changes coming in a couple of months on IHT rules. That'll be the main focus of the last 12 months. But naturally, there's usually a whole range. But I would say that the dominant one is probably lack of successors
Coming into the industry.
Yeah, and the capital value that farms are sitting with at the moment. The capital appreciation in the last 3, 4, 5 years
has been huge.
Has been tremendous.
The change in agricultural property relief,
yeah,
and the inheritance tax. We've had a lot of people again previously to the changes that happened just before Christmas. Before that, I would say when we were going out, a lot of people asking, is it going to have an impact on value? Is this going to see land values, stop with that steady trajectory? Are we seeing that?
I think it's too early to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I do buy into land purchases, farm purchases are made on a generational basis. They're not made on a snap decision. And I stand by that statement in that, yeah, IHT, the changes haven't solved the IHT problem. We still have an issue with IHT and at the cap on APR and BPR. But I don't think that is going to be the big driver of the land market. I think there are other circumstances, other economies of scale, other pure financial questions will be answered on economic returns of farming that will probably just keep the land market where it is at the moment.
I mean, you just touched on the terms of agriculture returns. Obviously, the arable sector's had a bit of a tough time.
Yep.
These last couple of years. The dairy sector, the milk to feed ratio has been very strong, so that's why they've been highly profitable in investing.
Yeah.
It is where who's going to be those investors. And I think from my sales that I've been involved in, predominantly if there's land that comes up on the edge of the farm, when, they're taking a generational view as to when are we going to get another chance to buy that 50 acres.
Absolutely.
But I think people aren't just jumping at the same.
No, I'd agree. I think there is more hesitancy. And that may be due to the financials that like I say, just taking dairy, we've probably seen at least a 25% milk price erosion in the last 6 months. Very, very sharp dip. That will have knocked confidence, but it also knocks the financial ability to take on those extra secured loans.
Having said that, I'm not seeing any changes in agricultural figures in terms of it's not as though they're suddenly struggling and such.
No, I think it'll be very interesting to see how this next 6 months, traditionally, as you know, things start picking up, the telephone starts picking up, we'll be out on the farms, giving some appraisals, and I think it'll be really interesting how this spring turns out to see how the market is on some larger blocks of land and some farms. Interestingly, I've done 2, if not 3, private sales of farms and land so far this year that don't want to go on the market.
No, I would say that's on more of an increasing aspect of the industry. That there's a lot of private sales do take place.
Yeah,
I think that probably shows the strength within the market that they don't want it to go to. Sometimes.
Yeah, and I think it's that one next location. Is if it's in the right place, and it's knowing your buyers.
So, Richard, final point.
Yep.
The figure that everyone bands around in terms of the last figures, land value, £10,000 an acre.
Oh, that one.
That one. Is it? Do you know what I mean? That's the figures that everyone was talking about in the news and such. When we're talking about inheritance tax.
Yeah, it's probably I always have a smile on the face when somebody quotes £10,000 an acre, because you know it's certainly in this part of the world. Probably we could do a 10-mile loop from here, Simon, and we can go from 5,000 to 15,000 pounds an acre. It's very much dependent on location, the quality of the land, type of land. We're stood in grade 2, grade 3, but again, as I said, 5-10 miles, we could be in grade 4 or we could be in grade 1. And that has a huge impact. So whilst a lot of land is in that bracket, it also is just as much outside of the bracket.
Yeah.
Very dangerous statement.
to make absolutely everything. So thank you very much for listening to our View from the Gate, and tune into our next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.